Hello, how are you today? Hope you are doing excellently. My name is Santiago Valencia. Welcome to the channel. If you have been following the previous episodes, I did promise on my last episode that I was going to go ahead and start a new series on creating a template in Cubase, an orchestral template from the ground up. So that's what we're going to be doing here on this series. So again, thank you very much for joining. Why do you need a template? It's really helpful. It really saves your butt in a lot of ways. And, if we're going to be doing music production and creation, for the long term, having a template will really save a lot of time. And I'll show you how that goes exactly here. But in my research, I did kind of find some places where some companies will sell you a pre-made template, whether it's in Logic or Pro Tools or Cubase. But I honestly feel that for two big reasons, it's a really, really good idea for you to do your own template, okay? So first and foremost, we're going to be working here in Cubase Pro 11. And I really think that it's important for you to do your own template. The first big reason is to really understand how Cubase works and to understand exactly how your template works. There's really no one template that fits all. Over the course of your career, you're going to be updating your template. Maybe change into a different template. If you're writing orchestral stuff today, but maybe tomorrow you're going to be doing some sort of rock song or a jazz standard, you might need a different template for a different musical purpose. In addition to that, maybe at the end of your creative workflow, you might need yet another template in order to start mixing and get maybe another template on top of that to maybe master. So lots of different templates for a lot of different purposes is the way I kind of look at it. But right now we're going to be looking at this orchestral template. And the second big reason for creating your own template is because you don't necessarily have what I have on my computer. Let me explain what I mean. If you're just starting off, you might only have one or two libraries to work with versus someone who's been doing this maybe years more than I have, and they probably have a lot more, libraries than I do. So it really depends on where you are in the stage of the game that will reflect the kind of template that you have. So those are the two big reasons why I'm a huge proponent of creating your own template from the ground up, okay? So enough talk. Let's go ahead and get started here. Again, we're doing this in Cubase Pro 11, and the first step I would really like to do and go over with you is the way that Cubase creates its folder structure. In order for you to be in complete control of your template and your DAW experience, it's a great thing to know how your DAW handles its folder structure. So let's get in on it, and we're going to get over here to the desktop. And what we're going to be doing is creating a brand new master folder, if you will. This master folder we're also going to be using for our template, but let's go ahead and create a master folder. And in this case, we're just going to call it Cubase Master Folder Template. Okay? So once you've opened up a Cubase project and gotten started, Cubase will go ahead and start creating a few folders in addition to the native project file. Now, the native project file has an extension of CPR. That's the native extension for Cubase. And in addition to that file, it's going to create 3 or 4 different folders. So let's go over that right now. The first one that it's going to create is an audio folder. And this audio folder is basically where Cubase is going to put all of your audio, takes, your vocal takes, your guitar takes, sort of thing. Everything in audio format is going to go into this folder. The next folder that it's going to go ahead and create is an images folder. Now, if you look at your Cubase session, you'll see on the tracks that you'll have like kind of waveforms, right? And that is something that Cubase will kind of take a snapshot of it. I don't know if it's creating a JPEG per se, but let's pretend for now that it is a JPEG. And it'll just go ahead and put those images inside the image folder so that the next time that you open up your session, Cubase doesn't have to redraw all those waveforms. It's just a way to make things a little bit faster for you, okay? The next two that it will create is track pictures. And then it's also going to create a mixdown folder. And we'll get into this mixdown folder in just a moment. I'll explain that to you. So these are typically the 4 folders that Cubase is going to kind of set up for you in addition to your native CPR file, okay, which we haven't created yet, but we will get to that. Okay, so in order to be organized with your files, I really like to look at my project as one whole thing, okay? I don't want to open my project 6 months down the line or a year down the line and realize that, oh, some of my audio, files are missing, or this is missing, or that's missing. And then I have to go comb back through all my old hard drives or an old computer. God forbid I don't have them, and then I lose that. So it's good to have everything in one solid place. So you're always transferring that one master folder. Wherever you go, everything is inside for that particular project, okay? So I've gone ahead and created kind of a way that I like going about doing my folder structure. And the first folder that I go ahead and create is something called bounces. Now, I'm a little old school in this, okay? But basically, this is the old way of, when we exported something, we used to call it bounce. Cubase calls it mixdown. That's what the mixdown folder that it creates, okay? But I like the word bounces, that's just me. So this is basically bounces where all my exports are going to be, my takes, version 1, version 2, what have you, okay? So that's the first folder that I go ahead and create. My second folder that I'll go ahead and create is artwork. And I'm going to kind of go in order alphabetically here. But artwork is another one that I'll go ahead and create. What does this mean? So whenever we're submitting our songs or pieces of music to social media or, to disco or to whomever, a lot of cases we're going to add some artwork to it, whether it's the album cover or the song cover. And we might go ahead and create that in Illustrator, Photoshop, maybe it's clip art of some sort. So I like to keep everything in one place, and that's where everything will go, is in this artwork folder, so that I'll have with me wherever I want. So the next time I have to submit a song to a particular brief or whatever, I can go ahead and just get the JPEG or a little clip art, add it in, easy peasy, and everything's all in the same place. So I don't have to keep looking for it. Okay, the next folder I will go ahead and create is contracts. If we've been hired to go ahead and do a short film or a big film or whatever, we want to stay organized with all of our legal stuff, in this particular case, contracts. So again, this is what I like to do just to make sure that everything is in one place. The next folder I'll go ahead and create is a Dorico/lead sheet folder. Now, if you're into Dorico, if you're into Sibelius or Finale, what have you, for your notation program, I like to keep this all together, okay? So my Dorico native file will go in here, and all my exports from there, maybe the full score or whatever each instrumentalist needs to put on their in front of them while they're playing their piece, their part. So this is basically where I have everything in there. If I'm creating a song, I'll go ahead and create a lead sheet, and then I'll put this also in the same area here. All right, next folder. If we've been hired, again, to do, let's say, a film of some sort or some visual media, most likely the people who hire us are going to provide us with some sort of footage. So I'll go ahead and make sure to put all the footage that I've received inside here. You can even add subfolders into footage depending on what part of the movie or what part of the visual experience it is, or what version that they've given you. So that's what this footage folder is all about. All right, our next folder, I have something called for mastering, or it can just be simply mastering. When we're done with our creation, we go ahead and export maybe a stereo file for mastering, and we're going to hand over to our mastering engineer, and all of those files will go into this, so it's ready to go. I don't have to necessarily go into my bounces folder and look through all the takes, right? It's just easier for me to go to my mastering folder. There it is, cool, let me submit that, done, okay? So that's why I go ahead and create a different folder for that. Okay, our next one is notes. Okay, so you might want to put some spotting notes in here. Maybe there's some other types of notes that you're going to want to put in, maybe some songwriting notes or what have you. So I go ahead and create my notes in here. If I've gone ahead and kind of sketched something out on paper, I might take a picture of it with my phone, send it over to my computer, and pop that in here into notes so I have my notes from my composing part of the of my orchestration here. All right, so next one, we have reference tracks. Once we're hired to do something to a visual media, sometimes we'll get a temp track. Sometimes they'll be like, let's say they're doing a horror movie, and we're doing this short horror movie, and I really, really like the soundtrack to, let's say, The Conjuring. So they might hand you a link, or they actually might hand you an MP3 of some sort. So I like to, again, keep organized and put all my reference tracks in my reference folder so I know exactly where things are. The next folder, I will go ahead and create session tracks. Now, this one's kind of a big one for me because I hire a lot of live musicians to go ahead and create their parts, whether it's a violinist, a cellist, if I'm doing a song, drums or guitar, and I'll go ahead and create the session tracks folder. In addition to that, inside the session tracks folder, I'll go ahead and create, the particular instrument, let's say cello or violin, okay? And even you can go further, take one on violin, take two, depending on how you want to go about it, but that's how I do it. Once I put them in here and I drag and drop into my Cubase project, here's a note. Once you do that, Cubase is going to take those files and duplicate them and put them in the audio folder, okay? So you might be duplicating your audio tracks. You'll have it in your session track folder, but then you're also going to have it in your audio folder that Cubase has done that. It is redundant. It's going to take double the space, just so you know. So you may not want to do this. You might just want to put them into your project so that Cubase can automatically put it into your audio folder. I like doing it this way because then I can go back and check out the sessions that I've done, see what the violinist did on a particular day or a particular take. You know what I mean? So this is just another way for me to be a little bit extra organized, but it does take a little bit more space on the hard drive, just so you know. Okay, and one of our last ones here, we go ahead and create a stem folder, okay? Once we've created our masterpiece, right, and we want to go ahead and perhaps maybe give it to a mixer, or let's say our client needs stems, right, which is very common in the visual media world, we'll go ahead and export all the stems. So let's say all the violins are on one stem, all the percussions in another, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the folder that I'll go ahead and do this for in stems. And again, you can break this down, take one, take two, but have all your stems ready to go in here so you don't have to be going back into any of your other folders. You'll have it all here in your stems here as well. Okay? Okay, awesome. Now, if you're doing like a song, let's say, there might be some other folders that you might want to do, like a songwriting folder or a song splits folder, so you can keep track of all your collaborators with your songs. So are there any other folders that you think you might use? If you do, I'd love to hear about it. Go ahead and put it in the comments below so that we can all listen to that. And there might be one that I haven't thought of yet that I would love to add. So again, this isn't necessarily the way that you have to go about creating your folder structure. You can do it any which way you want, but I just wanted to share with you the way I do it because I try to be as organized as I possibly can. Okay, great. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop there for right now. We're going to go ahead and do another episode when we're actually going to get into Cubase and start getting our hands dirty and creating this template from the ground up, okay? And if you are interested in that, I welcome you to join us on our next episode of this series. Go ahead and click the subscribe button so we can notify you on when that might happen, which I believe will happen in the next few days, okay? And again, I hope this has been useful. I hope you got something out of it. Please leave a comment below and click that like button if you'd like. And we'll see you guys on the next one, okay? Again, my name is Santiago Valencia. Thank you very, very much for stopping by. And until next time, it's been a real slice. Take care. Bye-bye.